I'm confused and trying to resolve my understanding of what's going on. Iraqis, if I understand it, are ethnically Persian. Are they ethnically Persian, or is Iranian?
They're Arab. Iran is Persians. Persians are in Iran.
Okay.
I think what you're confusing is that as far as sects, that Iraq has a significant number, I don't know if it's about half or what, of Shia,
okay.
which is like Iran. No, Iraq are Arabs and Iran are Persians, but they are all Muslim.
So Iranians are not organizing against the ISIL? Are they allying with ISIL? What's going on? Are they being occupied?
No,
by
and
ISIL?
and you just opened up a whole big other, so you can invite me maybe tomorrow. Well, because that's a whole nother discussion, which is a very important discussion.
Yes.
Because of the fact that we have alienated Iran, and our policy doesn't know how to deal with people that maybe we don't always agree with or don't like. So we've pushed him to what? To hide with Assad. Why? Because Assad is part of the Alawite, which is a kind of Shia, which is kind of like a similar sect, like the Iranians. And so that's problematic, because I guarantee you, and I know without a doubt, that there's not a lot of love between the two. I just believe that because, it's kind of like, what is that saying that, what is it, like your enemy and yeah, exactly. And so it's the idea is that we've pushed Iran now, and now we're in a problem because Russia backs Iran. And so we've pushed Iran to ally and is sending troops and is sending so many things to Syria. Why? Because they're really scared that if Syria falls, and Syria was a pretty big kind of like Shia leadership there, that this is going to leave them sort of open to US attacks or whatever the case is. But had we been smart in our policies and we said, you know what, we want to get rid of some of these sanctions. A lot of these are just for stupid reasons anyhow. We want to find ways to work together. The Iranians are highly educated, highly intelligent people, and many of them like democracy, and many of them like America. Actually, like a lot of the Iraqis, they're not that different, you know what I mean? But the problems of a lot of things that are going on in the world is actually because of us. And so I find it hard to believe, with all the brains that are in Washington, that we couldn't have thought that ahead of time. But then at the same time, there are also certain groups that are working that I feel want to see the destruction of a lot of these countries. So they are then the power in the Middle East that can step on everybody else and can do whatever they want.
Clarify that a little bit. Iran's not actually allying with ISIL,
Oh, no, they're not. No,
which I
no.
think was part of your question.
Yeah, no, they're not allying with them. They're
Well-
allying with Bashar Assad.
But do they collaborate or decide
No,
not to look, or
they've been bombing them.
you know?
Yeah. And they're also allied with Hezbollah.
Hezbollah is also
And,
Shia.
yeah.
They're in Lebanon.
And the
Hezbollah, Shia.
interesting thing, it's all about this chaos. When you have chaos,
Oh, of course.
that's what it is.
And it's a policy that we created of divide and conquer. You know, Saddam Hussein, who was a tyrant, was actually a Sunni, okay? And his group was Sunni. And so we overthrew him, and we put who? We put, what is his name? Oh my gosh. Maliki.
And guess
And
what?
he's what? Shia.
Yeah.
And so then we empowered him and left the Sunnis to, so it's that divide and conquer. It's like, don't we know how to build coalitions? That something that we should kind of do?
We need to understand the sects and the different cultural divisions within the religion. Especially in America. Many of white Americans, European Americans may not know that the black Muslims, are a small set within, that study Islam, and may not know the difference. When we talk about Muslims in America, we're thinking, we're
One
looking at the
homogeneous
same
group,
person,
you know?
or the same
It's kind of like
embodiment of ideals and philosophies.
It's kind of like saying that, okay, a Missouri Synod Lutheran
Yes.
is the same thing as an
Yes.
ELCA Lutheran. No, they're not. You know what I mean? So within Islam, although we really don't have, except mainly these two sects, the Sunni and the Shia. But it's not really a division that is, it is promoted by these governments. It's not, for example, Syria, I can tell you for a fact, Sunnis and Shias and all of these have lived together for years and years and years. They intermarry. I mean, you know, it's not something that existed, but then you start to divide and conquer. Now, even within the United States, the Syrian, here even in Milwaukee, the Syrian Shia, to some extent, are polarized when it comes to the Syrian Sunni. You know, because one is seeing it as a life and death battle, that if Bashar Assad falls, that means the Shia are, you know, they're going to be demolished. And the others see it, well, this is human rights. How can you support someone that's a tyrant? You know what I mean? So it's a bigger discussion. It's a much bigger discussion.
What about the migration to Canada? Because Canada is always, pretty much until the last government opened their doors to Muslims especially.
Well, I don't know that much, but the problem is with all these refugees is that they have lost everything, and many of them are selling every single thing they own to try to you know, get to another country, and sometimes that's just being taken and stolen from them, and sometimes they lose their lives in the process. So I think, but what I think we do need to mention is that, you know, we were talking about the countries that are accepting these refugees, and we talked about, you know, Turkey, who you know, God help them and save them, really have accepted 2 million refugees, and Jordan and Lebanon and all of these, and Germany has taken already 80,000 refugees. For all the lip service that we in the United States have given, in 4 years, we've only allowed 1,800 Syrian refugees in. And that's shameful.
We did the
That's
same
shameful.
to the Jewish people when Hitler was there. We turned away ships with Jewish people.
We did. So
That's
now we have a
America
history.
for you.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. So I think we have to say something about that. And one of the things that Muslim organizations around the United States are really pushing for is a no-fly zone over Syria, to try and, because these refugees are leaving. Why? Because they're being bombed from the air. They're being killed. Whereas if you have a no-fly zone and it's being managed, most likely the flow of refugees will decrease. Because these people were living fantastic lives in the sense of Syria is one of the countries that really, you didn't have poverty. Everyone, they're extremely industrious and educated people, and it's really sad. I mean, my brother-in-law, who's an engineer, you know, him and his whole family ended up taking one of these boats to Germany, you know, and he was an extremely well-off engineer. I have a sister-in-law who's my husband is Syrian. My sister-in-law who's an architect. She's still stuck there. She's, you know, she has no way out. Her and her children, they have no way out. So you have these stories over and over again. They're really very, very unfortunate. But I know we could be about